This program was made possible by AGRA and supported by USAID. Kuapa, good farming.
There are a lot of challenges in farming, be it in the field of policy, agronomic practices, improved and certified seed, input use, and agribusiness services.
New techniques for producing yam has been shown to be the less expensive and most effective way for farmers to grow their own seed and plant more yam than the traditional method.
It could be a viable and profitable option for smallholder farmers. Join us as we share the experience of this farmer.
In Ghana, yam is one of the major staple food crops and it occupies 11.6% of the total cropped area of Ghana. Despite the large quantity produced here, there is no formal seed production or marketing system to take care of farmers' needs. In this episode, Kuapa will expose farmers to develop techniques in yam production.
Kuapa is exposing a farmer in Sekruwa in the Ashanti region of Ghana to a new system of yam production. Sekruwa is a 26-year-old farmer. He inherited farming as an occupation from his parents, who were both farmers. He grows yam and cassava. He is married to Aisha, who helps on the farm.
Pise, enti enfie dodo sen ni awaye kwadwuma.
Yo, ma mpachum na mesase 3 years ni.
Enfie miensa.
Na pise, na weku adwuma edemi oha potia wo.
Oha wo mu se mi obi a me do baayire. Na me baayire yemu no. Ayana empono ne ye no ne pene ye gin. Tama mintimi enye baayire ndedo. Na miya ayana pam na me esisi no anu so asan problem am. Ama mintimi enye ndedo. Na ma ya wie kura ne ton no. Ayana ayewo ha ma minti ama mintimi enye nkasi.
Na banchini so e
banchini de aye na first na ya medua banchi bi a e friend afisafi na sa banchini na ya banchi bi a medua is a debe 2 years eko but just ma for a brain banchi bi anu ye esamanchi anu no medua 1 year pepepe na abo na medo anu na se baako na mado we no ase mienu no bi omo de bra no aye na ayana ne abo kura na ne ton no problem.
Na mame we o how be na wo fie
me pa how kakra me wo fie me man ba akoko school na kane anso ni anti free school ba onya light in fence ya de
okay enu nti na Kuapa ya ba hanne ye ba ha empemfo be ka se nye bone ye ba be hwe hawa mo ewo kwadwuma mu na ye di mpanimfo a wonwo ehunimdie aba na wa be kire won kwan a wo be fa so a ekwadwuma no e be kosuye amamonte enu nti ne ba
na ansa na ye di ombeba no ma ye hwe fu no.
He owns 2 acres of improved certified cassava known as Esam Banchi. But he says his challenge is accessing market.
We have say no, ne kase be say.
Becha no ne kase be Africa.
Half
acre. Enti wo hawa ne pon.
Becha mo hawa ne pon. Pon na me problem nye bi na de ya ne amana ya kase.
Enti se wunya poni bia wo betra wo hye ni.
Se menye pon bi nkwa de a me ye ne kase.
Ene de be ni se sisi an ye be kwa kofa nimdiefo no wa wonim bayire duamu hu nimdie no na won aba be
2-4.
Okay.
Na ya hwe kwan be fa so a yebetumi atreche no.
Okay.
Why?
Inso madam asisimu mo wai bo am sakwan.
Pise has a mixed variety of yam on an acre plot and uses the traditional method of planting.
He's really got a big farm here, you know?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
But you know, although he has the zeal to expand, Pise is only feeding his family members with his farm produce because of difficulty of finding planting materials.
I realized that most of the farmers here use the improved variety of cassava, then Kambum and Esam, you know, but access to market is still a challenge.
We have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I think we do.
Problems identified are limited access to planting material, traditional yam production techniques, limited access to market. We are still in Sekruwa, helping farmer Pise, who is cultivating an acre land of yam due to limited access to planting materials. We will provide him with best and proven practices in producing yam.
The staking is not properly done because you can see that most of the leaves are just lying on the floor.
Kuapa invited upon the monitoring and evaluation officer of Josma Agro Industries Limited, who has been investing in seed yam production using the minisett technique.
With this old system, you won't get the staking right. Definitely, there will be some of the leaves lying on the floor. The sprouting didn't show.
Pise.
Pise, let's say, a woman said, no food, no, I had the born home of the India. Then so, you were quite who do be a hornman. And now, quite for a bit much, ama, the why you know. Obey young number home ben prince and I'm pregnant. Now a brain swap, what brewer hand, one rest our brain, any car wa born a subeti. It is a when you so you by Regumani dear. You were a Jumandi boy, a friend, a young minisett technology. You were Pessi a Dobako. Now I call her senior is here, now so any Juma, a word dear.
In order to clear all doubt, upon advice that Pise should listen to another farmer who is using the new technique, we visited Mohammed on his farm.
And we soon coffee cannons on easy, mammy. Cabia Shadder, enim, Imudon so easy. And a pump chakras on easy, mammy, because we jack mine and a berry, a besum, we sumanaji by Rene Cherhom, in Kama wear a woman. The first one, a crowd me who found a mount probably. When you say mount pot, because a Byron's I share assassin. Into a mount pot, and we swam one by Rancy, the brie, a more human and see easy. And it's also be sure the at the papa Mayina, obey your home first.
Pise, who was the Musaviman?
As someone be no maybe send dear, what can say, send her or meet my coach and Sakwa for me, no so managing some.
It has been shown that any piece of healthy yam containing the peridem can be made to sprout and grow into a tuber. In the minisett technology, however, the effort is to obtain sizable seed yams from a mother yam. Importance of yam minisett technology. An acre of yam minisett can produce up to about 8,000 tubers compared to the traditional method, which is about 2,000 tubers per acre. Less seed is required for planting. Staking is very simple and less stressful. Maintenance cost is reasonably low as against the traditional method. The sizes of the tubers are small and cute, which is good for export market and supermarket. It can help reduce post-harvest losses. The first step is land preparation. Select the appropriate site or land. Make the ridges with appropriate dimensions. It should be straight with about 0.5 meters or 50 centimeters height. Remember, the height of the yam ridge should be 50 centimeters. Farmers can ensure the right measurement by standing close to the ridge and measuring from the sole of an adult's feet to the knee level.
Upon, and they say if he had near coin.
See, I feel near Coher said the CCC by Reno. You twitchum, na San ye dear.
By year, what you say? Nina, ya do bet me, dear.
Na I need na wait me, dear. If he said, a beefy. If a buyer and wash it, one who says seem to be anything. A yes, ye did dear. And a buyer and so, and when you were pee you were home. Intina, buyer dear, a whom be at me. Name only tin on a bantam.
To prepare the yam minisett, in Nkrumah, the farm advisor of Josma says you will need a basket, tuber of yam, knife, insecticide and fungicide for treating seed yam, nylon ropes, water, and stakes to support yam veins. But remember to first identify the type of yam variety you want to plant. Nkrumah advised that a farmer should always treat seed yam before planting. To start with, get clean water. Pour about 50 ml of insecticide and fungicide into the clean water. Soak the yam set in the clean water and allow for about 3 to 5 minutes.
Mema unse oye ya odi gumu odi abana ye. Dientina onfanansan ya odi abana ye.
Fise druno eye wudru kwa widi man kakra ebitimi ahaw.
Take them from the treated water and allow it to dry under a shade. Alternatively, if a farmer cannot afford to buy the insecticide and fungicide as recommended, he or she can use the leaves of a neem tree. Squeeze the liquid out of it and add it to a bowl of water. Soak the pieces of yam in it and allow it to stay overnight. Your seed yam is now ready for planting.
Buyer and tema beshen, as I say, 50 centimeters. Ana meter fan. Say me 2 men say free men sa no besima men sa back home. 50 centimeters. Now me shen ye di kan and say a ba anu pi say ha. E free ha. Enti number susu.
Put the minisett on the ridges, 50 centimeters apart. That is the distance between the set. Bury the yam set in the ridged soil. Ensure that you slant the yam set on its edges when burying. Remember to put some shrubs or grass to cover the bed. This will serve as mulching to retain moisture for the soil. Seed yams are usually planted 10 to 15 centimeters below the surface of the ridges, and the spacing within rows 50 centimeters each. Example, from the hand to the elbow level of an adult hand. Get nylon ropes, thread and sticks. Fix the sticks firmly at the end of the ridges. It can be 2 or 3 depending on the length of the ridged bed. String the nylon ropes nicely on the stick. Use the thread to direct the sprouting yam on the stringed rope. Supporting yam vines on stakes or trellises has been shown to increase tuber field in most cultivars. The need to stake yam established from minisett appears critical in view of the small and tender nature of the vines produced.
Kuapa, promoting good farming. I visited the Ashanti Mampong District Mofa office to get some expert advice for Pise. Our farmer here, Pise, uses the improved varieties of cassava, yet has problems with marketing. What do you advise?
The advice now we are giving now is that we want them to add value to the roots after it has matured. So the 2 value addition that they want them to do is that 1, we want to process them, the cassava roots into gari. so that they can preserve the gari when there is no market. And 2, we want him also to do just konkonte, so that they can preserve the konkonte and store them when there is market, then he sells it. So that is how we want him to do the market. Pisa, Aja. As I say, variety by now we use you over my.
Yo, Aja Pacha, a sambanchi.
A sambanchi. What you are trying said, we should be an IC.
Yes, I've seen her. Let's try to see. My baby.
What do you say? A D now, what you say on Sanafi?
Okay, wait, I ready now, Chimmy and Sanafi.
Now, what you mean in the Chivia, a decent and son, what does?
Okay, I ready 1 week account and Sanamadasi.
Do Udasi Empress say and Sana AEC?
I tell me Dasi 2 times.
And the Jews have in their own generation. Canopy now may be a massive. So, having done that, it means that he's doing the good practice on agronomy.
If that is what he said, you mentioned processing as well. Yeah. When it comes to processing, Kuapa will see how best to educate him on how to process.
You can obtain high yield with good agroeconomic practices and management. Therefore, every step must be taken seriously in the process of planting your cassava. For cassava plantation, it is important to choose an accessible, well-drained, fertile soil. Varieties are important for good cassava production. The following varieties are recommended for their high yield and processing quality: Esam Banche, Abasafita, Nkabom, Tek Banche, Banche Hema, Abelefia, Ampong, Dokudwade, Sika. Cassava planting starts in April and can be extended to October. Cassava stem cutting 25 centimeters long should be planted at a spacing of 1 by 1 meter for canopy formation in order to help in weed control. Weed control can be done pre-emergence only once and post-emergence at least 3 times, but as many as necessary till canopy is formed. Rogen. This is the removal of plant materials in the farm which are not true to type to the variety of cassava planted. This can be done after canopy formation.
In preventing Pisces cassava from getting rotten on his field, Kuapa gave him some knowledge on adding value to his product to be able to access markets.
Josma Agro Industries is a farming and processing entity. About 12 years ago, I became a farmer doing so many other crops. At the end of the year, the cassava was mature, but I had post-harvest losses staring me in the face because there was no adequate market opportunities for fresh roots. With this fear, a friend encouraged me to do gari. So I started doing this gari on a very small scale. But with time, I realized I had to upgrade my processing of the cassava. Within a year, I had consumed almost all the cassava in the communities because I couldn't get any to process. So I went back into producing more cassava. Since then, I've been producing cassava on a very large scale and providing cassava planting materials for farmers in the surrounding communities. I process into gari and flour and starch, and I'm looking at other avenues to process so that I don't have post-harvest losses as my bed meat. I think we need to have more processing centers. If we don't process the cassava we are producing, the farmers will stop producing because their crops will be stuck in the bushes. Banchi, near where would we an edine guano? If you crave the way from near the bar, a bar, you became jack. You jack ma a fair, if we are na Yakohobro. Yakohobro, Nefe, the good machine, money I am. And sana, yachim, in sheer womb. Edi ben and san, Yakochino Gary. Na me pesa me chire wo ne ewo. Unsa haso. Wo ye kuyani unni niema ode be no kase sei tu banche no ehia se gari nko na woye betimi aye kokonte betimi aye starch betimi aye gari betimi aye niema bebre na mo kakra bi a ema wo ho nkyere upa yemfa nse kokonte ya ye kurase no ye kokonte no ba se na yesi ye no ema nipa bebre mpeso mbedi kokonte enti no udwa banche no na hohoro ho kama na wo hata anye se wo hata no wo fom wo di begu rubber so na che se efi enko ho ebise nipa na ebedi.
Mill it and put them in a nylon sack with liners. Janet advised that after harvesting your fresh cassava, Pise and his wife can turn it into gari or kokonte.
The yam minisett technique has been shown to be a cost-effective way for farmers to grow their own seed and to plant more yam than the traditional method. And I'm so glad that Pise adopted it.
Jane took him and his wife through some simple cassava processing techniques to avoid post-harvest loss.
Wow. We'll be back to see how he's doing.
Kuapa, promoting good farming.
It's months later, and we are back in Sekruwa to catch up with Farmer Pise to see how the advice he received has changed things for the better on his farm and with his family.
Aisha, hey, Stephanie.
Aisha.
Eja.
What is it?
Na me admo.
Na, what's that here kokonte?
Me pachai.
I see. Na, edem bim na ya otumidi banchini here.
Me pacho banchini mitimidi ya kokonte ne gari.
Oh, okay. I see. Now, I need to what you saying.
The person ne tomu ye kama. What the gari no ko dra moto kama. Na kongonte no so sa moto. Sa the kono man ton so utimi do ade be fie besi. Empro nye hwe. Nso enka ne banche no. Utu na se we ntimi amfa anye kongonte na se banche a yi gari a ebegu osa na apro. And see a difference abem.
I see. Difference abem. I'm very happy she's using what she learned to do something.
Wow.
Seriously.
Na Pise we
me paso ko efu.
O ene ye beto no fu
kachi.
Open Pise.
Oh, aja.
Hey,
Afia, mama kwaba. Friend.
Yeah.
Open. Let me say.
Akwaba.
Yeah.
Aja. Oh.
Yeah. Let you what you say.
Kacha already adum.
Obo.
Afia.
Per assessment of the farm, what do you think?
What I can say is that Pise is a very good learner. He has demonstrated that what he learned, he has put it into practice. And we can all see the new things that he has learned. Comparing the produce from the old method of farming, we can see that this is a very big tuber which a single person cannot use in a day. At best, it's meant for 2 or 3 people. But with the use of the minisett, this is the size that came out of it. This is capable of feeding a single person in a day. When you use it, you avoid the tendency where the yam will get rotten. And even in health-wise, it's good for you to use it in a day. I'm sure that Pise has learned a lot, and he will be able to tell us what he has learned. In terms of market, he's capable of selling these tubers to supermarkets or enter into the export market when he gets the contacts. So he's able to get additional income compared to what he used to get from our traditional method of selling. So I think that this is a good practice.
Where the wawa sorry. Who is saying?
I say na mama fa we na ba ko na me ba yere ba ko metime dua bebre. First na me de ba ko na dua nti wa ba duro ya auto se me se otimi se bia ko ye mama.
Na e ba no ni tomo so a just to say.
Aja
Neton so many problem. Syria na me say wa hwe me no timi say bibia koye neton wa sen say abon ke 20 me do kodwa membre ho na omato.
Wow. And there's some papa nkwa.
Very good.
Na ihu se moye adwuma bre. Enti moye nkwa na mkwaji ma ho me why?
Yo. Na me obi a me yekuyani na me kuya yom me komanim na kuyepa for adawroma won ba yo mo betie me haw no omo de animdefo aba a omo abekyerekye me kwan mefa so a menim die no me kuya yo no ebekwa nim yo mache no masom me de ya adwuma
na otwi bebre ni a one ya nante enu nti kuyepa so yo akyegye bi edema Mami, I'm saying also pe kania de amamofra na ma won de sua de we e solar wo de awia e na de be charge bi se wo so de ni
na I share that mas
why you be watching
we de be sra pa kaka na mum ye pese ye be san aba no na wo phone what trem na minisett no so an wo bro no ha nyina wa kire won why anya baba
Let's check our Kuapa tip for the day. Note that to produce seed using minisett technology, there are stages. Stage 1. Selection of mother yam. Mother seed yam should weigh about 500 grams to 1 kilogram. Bigger size is wastage of flesh. It should be free from diseases. It must not have any sign of dormancy, that is, drewing sprouting. Yam with infestation such as nematodes should not be used as seed yam. Yam that has been infested with scale insect should not be used. Stage 2. Cutting of mother seed yam. In cutting the mother seed yam, first is to cut the cross section. The size of the back containing the eye where the yam should germinate should be almost 6 centimeters by 6 centimeters, or farmers can use matchbox to get a relative measurement of seed yam cutting. The next cutting is longitudinal cutting. We cut the cross sections into 4. Each minisett yam should be almost the same size with the matchbox. Stage 3. Treating the cut surfaces. You can treat with insecticide, fungicide, or mixture of both. But if farmers cannot afford it, ordinary wood ash can be used. He or she can use the leaves of a neem tree. Squeeze the liquid out of it and add it to a bowl of water. Required materials for treatment of seed yam. Hand gloves. You can dab the surface with a wood ash or treat it with suspension of chemicals and wood ash. Dip in the solution for about 5 to 10 minutes. Allow the water to drain from the basket. Dry the planting materials under shade. Then you are ready to plant.
Yam minisett technology is found to produce seed yams that are healthier and 6 times higher yielding than farmers' own method.
And adding value to your product is another way of accessing markets.
Always remember to practice what you learn on Kuapa. Until next week, we just might be on your farm.
Kuapa,
promoting good farming.
For further information, contact our call center on 0577665186. You can visit our website www.kuapagana.com and like our page on Facebook, Kuapa Ghana. This program was made possible by AGRA and supported by USAID.